Today, I wanted to cover an issue that is in the minds of a lot of people, which is what are the changes that are likely to take place after the Trump administration comes into power, which it will happen on January 20, 2025. Specifically, will immigration be harder? That's what's really mostly on the mind of most people. And I think that the answer is not a simple one. Yes, some of it will be much more difficult. For example, the Trump himself and the Trump administration have made noise about how they think that people who are entering from the southern border and the northern border should be stopped. So the numbers of people entering from Mexico has gone up substantially with the Biden administration. It was over 2 million people who came in through the border in 2021, 2022, and 2023. Now there's a lot less people than that, but still, it's still much more than it used to be. Under the prior administrations, on a typical year, you would have 300,000 or 400,000 people. So there's been an upswell of opposition to it throughout the whole country, and Trump has been also on top of that. That means one thing, that most likely it will be a lot harder for people who are trying to come into the country from the southern border, from Mexico, to get in and to stay in. There's no doubt about that. So I would say if that is somebody is planning to come in here, it will most likely be harder than it was after the new administration comes into power. That's a known thing. Now, whether they will affect the people who are currently here and who are going through their immigration process, that's a different story. I don't believe that a change of administration is going to necessarily change the philosophy of the judges who are actually judging everybody's claim. So the ones who are harder to grant asylum will continue being harder, and I think that the ones who are fairer about it will continue being fairer. I don't believe that that will change. However, the whole process will become more difficult for those coming in. On the other hand, people who are here and who are applying for business-related, employment-based green card programs, EB1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's been a lot of talk, both from Trump himself, as well as from some of the people associated with him, such as Elon Musk, where they've said that what they want to do is actually make it easier, not harder, for people to qualify for some of the EB green card categories. I've covered that in some of my prior videos, but the short of it is that he has promised to make it easier to qualify for an EB green card. He has also talked about making it easier and shorter in time. In other words, currently, if it's taking 1, 2, 3, 4 years to get one of the EB green cards, it will be shorter. Elon Musk specifically addressed this topic, and as everybody knows, Elon Musk himself is the recipient of an EB2 green card petition. And as I've said many times before, President Trump's wife is also the recipient of a green card, then citizenship based on EB1. So I think that there's reason to be optimistic that if anything, the EB programs will be easier and will be somehow more people will qualify so that they could come in legally and become green card holders through the EB program. However, nothing's for sure, but that is what every indication is. Now, as far as some of the other issues related to immigration, I think the most important is what's called birthright citizenship. Mr. Trump has said that as soon as he comes into power, he will cancel the whole birthright citizenship, meaning that if parents give birth in this country and if they themselves don't have a green card or don't have citizenship, their child will not automatically qualify for U.S. citizenship. That is, of course, a very big change. Now, whether that is constitutionally legal or not, that's something that will be decided by the courts and by other people who are actually going to be dealing with that. But at least for the short term, it is very likely that if two people who are not residents or citizens give birth in this country, that their child will not be able to immediately automatically get U.S. citizenship. Other visa reunification, family reunification programs might also be affected. Currently, siblings of U.S. citizens, even though there's a very, very long wait, they qualify to apply for a green card. Maybe that will be restricted. Maybe it'll become harder. Maybe it'll become impossible. Maybe it'll be suspended. What happens for spouses, for children, for parents? It's also likely that there could be limitations, that it could be harder. So it's a mixed picture. On some level, for asylum-based programs, I think that there will definitely be changes that will make it harder, but on the other hand, they should be able to get easier if they are trying to seek a green card based on their employment-based, extraordinary, national interest waiver, or from if you have an employment offer. So if you are considering applying for any kind of green card or any kind of residency in the future, talk to us, because all of the options that were on the table before are still there, but some of them have to be considered a little bit more closely than they were before.